What's up, y'all? I'm Stokley, and I'm on the tightrope with Tricia Rose and Cornel West. There was one point where I wasn't sure what I was doing was of any importance. I was, we had, it might have been like 1999, and, we were just in the middle of a deal kind of thing. And I was like, wow. Do I want to switch gears? What am I looking at? I'm only doing music. I'm not curing cancer or anything like that. And I think around this, a little bit after that, we started getting mail and people were talking about, speaking of cancer, there was somebody who was on the deathbed basically saying, listen to your music. And you may not believe this, but you brought us through this and we believe that this is healed. I heard several stories after that like that. And then I shifted. And I was like, yeah, I am a healer.
You are.
I'm a sonic healer. And that's why I started kind of, so I started going by that kind of little moniker, a little nickname, but but that totally changed my perspective. I'm like, no, man, you got it all wrong. This is nothing to play with. Yes, it can be used as for devilish ways, or it could be used to heal and bring people through something, so.
Well, the vibrations, the scientists are learning that electromagnetic vibrations and frequencies do heal and harm, right?
Yes,
depending on what they are. And so it's not far-fetched at all that what you're creating and the spirit of it across the board, not just the hits. I mean, there's so many songs that do that. But go ahead, Cornel. I know I'm just
that's true.
Going to my own universe over here.
Now, I was sitting here thinking of that song by Al Green, You've Been Making Out Okay. You remember that? You've been making out, you've been out.
Yes.
And he just raising that question. You've been making out okay. I said, and he just go on and he takes you to a zone where very much like yourself, though, where you're both wounded healers, but you're also joy spreaders, because there is a joy that flows out of going to the edge of the abyss and allowing your voice to go as far as it can go before it cracks. And yet you still get so close to the crack and you're still there on the tightrope. And I said, wow, Al Green, Russell,
that is it.
Donald McPherson are the main ingredient. It just goes on and on. Lord have mercy. That's Stokley Mandela. Stokley Mandela Williams.
Right. Yes. That's exactly it, man. I mean, you just explained. I mean, and sometimes, I'll listen to myself afterwards and other people, and I've talked, my colleagues, and singers and musicians. You're in it. And until you watch it back, it's like we were right on the edge of it. It's like it's right, and you didn't realize how much it's like voice crack, but it doesn't matter because the feeling of it, bad notes, good notes. And everybody, you get to a point where everybody's rising, and you're with me. It's a conversation. We rise together.
Absolutely.
And you rehearse so long with your band where it's like, I tell them it's like we rehearse to the point where like we don't think about anything, but we're all just floating, and everybody that should translate. That should translate in the whole room. So it ends up being a conversation. And that's what I think you're speaking to is like, man, that healing that happens. It's like whatever you're going through, whatever you're doing, however you were, that person you were before you came in that room, when you leave, you're going to be a different person.
Oh,
that's what, that's the whole thing about it, and it sticks with you. I think that's why music is so important it's a timestamp. Like whether you got married or you got a graduation or just a kid, does music puts its time. Oh yeah, I remember the stylist was out there in 1977, 1980. It puts a timestamp. I mean, it's really an important part of the movie of our lives. You know what I mean? So it's really it's amazing. I'm so thankful each year that I get to do this. More and more I realize as I reflect how blessed I am, how I've been. How blessed I've been, how blessed we've all been. It's an amazing journey. So I feel like I'm just getting started. It's like my brain is caught up to everything that has happened. I'm like, and it's a weird time, but I will say that is the thing that COVID did, because it stopped life pretty much. It stopped everything. We had to say we were too busy for, we were too busy for busy. Everybody.
That's right.
To be just moving and, and you just forget, man. And all you realize all these things you've done, you realize who you actually are. And I had to sit down and figure out what matters. What really matters in life, what things. And of course, the first things that people always say, it's not money, it's your family, it's the people around you, that you have this bond with, and you grow it and you're like, man, this is really, I got to get back to this. So, I mean, if there's anything that comes out of this, that thing is so strong to me, just to cement yourself, root yourself again, relearn and unlearn some things that bad habits that you've had, so you can continue to rise. You know what I mean? So this is, with the new project Sankofa, that's kind of what I've been living inside of all that. So it's given me some extra time to really live inside of it and grow it and think about it and push myself even further than anything I've ever done. So, these
are solo projects, huh?
Yeah.
This one, the next coming out, the Sankofa, yes. Wow. This is the second, my sophomore CD, yes.
Yeah.
How does that feel to be on your own like that, though, brother?
It's interesting because, with Mint, we spent so much time developing and growing, doing every single thing together, traveling the world, meeting heroes like you all. Some of our people we grew up listening to, Maurice White, Prince, and even Michael, all these people that we've had a chance to rub shoulders with, and Larry Graham. Just so many. And we've gotten so many accolades. That Stevie Wonder, it's list, it goes on and on and on. It's everything has prepared me for this. You see what I call it Mint University, because I really had learned so much from all those brothers and the whole experience, each year, each moment we had, each song, each lyric, each chord progression, it has really taught me and instructed me, right now in this present moment. But it feels natural. I thought that maybe it would feel like, oh, I missed this. And, of course, you miss the fellas, and that's my brothers, it's family. So, but everything that was then brought me to this moment. So it feels like it felt like a natural progression, because I think you have to do something for a long time. And I think this is true for anybody that does anything, if you're doing anything for 20, 15, 20, 25 years, it's remarkable, whatever that is, especially with holding together a tight knit group. That's because that is something that just doesn't happen. Number one, because everybody is centered around individualism. Number one, so it is, and the thing that broke up the great, big bands of the 70s, of course, was commerce. And I get it, trying to split up the pie. But for me, like I said, I had more of a communal mindset. All the other things that came at me outside of that, or people would try to get me to do this or that, it really was no problem. It was no big, people say, I heard that you had a problem with such and such, and you wanted to go. So I was like, no, I was totally comfortable with sharing and doing what it is we do, because we grew up listening to bands. That's what we wanted to be, is what we wanted to do, being a part of something bigger than, everybody played their part, and it's like stronger together. Again, that community thing, that thread running through me, you know what I mean, that I saw growing up. And so that, again, helped instruct me. It gave me all the power and all the knowledge and all of the everything, gave me license. It gave me a license to do what I'm doing right now. I just had to give myself license, basically. It's like, it's okay. You know what I mean? And to go off and explore some things, and to do some things in another way, and work with different people just to explore. As a musician, as an artist. Yeah,
absolutely.
And and truthfully, y'all were together, it's closer to 30 years, isn't it?
We've been on the mint condition journey has been 35 years, to be exact.
Yeah, I think you've earned the right to do, to explore some different avenues. Not like you broke up the band. That's
right, all of us.
That's a long time. There's no band that's been around that long that I know of that's been so consistent.
Consistently like that.
Yeah, straight along.
I'm proud of that. Yeah. So
you should be. You should be. The band tradition was largely broken up by record industry imperatives and live venue expectations. you know, right around the time that you really started Mint, you know, I mean,
true.
That was the era when bands were really not dying, but being killed off. And they're so important for so many reasons that you've been holding it down. I mean, people come to hear you all. It's always sold out. There's always a line. People know you from different eras of the albums that you've done. And so that group experience is critical. So you bringing all that to bear, seeming on your solo albums that I know of, right? You're bringing all of that history and experience to bear. What would you say is a hallmark of Sankofa for you? You know, that is at the heart. I mean, She is a great single. I love it. So I'm ready for the whole project. But tell me, like what was going on with this year in Sankofa for you?
Well, I wanted to definitely create some things and dig more into who I am, dig more into the percussive side, dig more into it's, you know, I had to go back to my childhood, you know, so I went back to the drum and cultural center days, those things that were very near and dear to my heart. And Sankofa being a term, you know, a Ghanaian term, means literally go back and get it. So for me, that also translates personally to remember where you came from, what you came through, how you got here. So all the music and vibrations that you hear are like, you know, it's going to give off stuff from the 70s, stuff from the 80s, like the song with Cascade had with the bonfire. That's more of an 80s kind of ode to that moment. You know, the vibrant song with Snoop is more of a 90s feel. I felt like I missed that fun 90s roller skating vibe. So I was like, I just did what I missed. You know what I mean? I just wanted to create what it is that I missed. Like, I feel like roller skating, and you know that I've missed that celebratory thing. And by the way, when all the George Floyd stuff happened, you know, and I remember having a discussion with you on the first album too, Tricia, about, you know, releasing. Is this the right time? And something happened then at that time too. And with this same thing here with the Floyd, I was like, I'm not sure if I should release this. It's too joyful. It's too, you know what I mean? But I realized that we have academic soldiers, we have street soldiers, we have artist soldiers. We all have to play our part and do the job. Right. You know what I mean? So I think, you know, that's right. Looking at my father and his struggling mother and struggling folks like you out on the street, it's one of those things where, you know, you need both. You have to inhale, exhale. It's like you can't be all one thing all the time. So we need to be celebratory, and that's a kind of protest in itself, you know. And that's one thing. Is like when we celebrate on the field, they gonna scoff at that, you know. Just way we do our thing, you know. It's like so. I kind of had to frame it in that. Thing.
Definitely,
so like, okay,
and
you know what I mean.
And what year more than this one recently did we need a joyful album?
Right.
I mean, you know, I mean. Right. We need to survive this situation. I can't even watch the news. I feel like every time I turn the news on, somebody's telling me it's basically a warning. It's going to be some upsetting images. I'm like, nah, you know, I'm on 6:30. I'm not listening to this again. I'm not. I'm. You know, I need to put a break on it and put Stokley on. You know. Yeah. So
for sure. So there's that, and then the other side of like the title track, Sankofa, is very reflective, and it's very cinematic. I wanted to create something that was that had some depth, you know, strings and then all these different things, just a good vibration, something you can sit down and actually listen to. I think people, they hear music now. It's like they're on their way to do something else, and they're just like, it's kind of like background music. Whereas we used to sit down and listen to and just like take out and pick out parts of the music. Like, oh, you hear this moving, and it's a sonic painting, just like you look at a painting. And you might see the painting in your house that has, you've seen a million times, and all of a sudden you just like actually got your hand on your face. And you're like, oh, I never looked at it from that angle. Oh, wow, that's another face. Same thing with when you listen to music. I don't think people really listen like, I hear this thing in the right ear that I'm painting, you know, just layers, that kind of thing. So Sankofa is more of a serious piece. There's another song on there called Recipe, which talks about how, you know, our culture is just we've been the creators. It's been so dynamic, and everybody wants a piece of it, wants a part of it, wants to be it, and wants to have this cultural appropriation, this cultural identity theft, and all that kind of stuff. So it's it talks about that, how they can't get the recipe. They want everything else. It's like, you love what I make, but you hate the fact that I'm making it.
Hey there. Thank you for joining us on The Tightrope. For the full episode, please visit us at www.thetightrope.pod.com. We'll see you soon.